Hey guys, so we are back. Everyone say hi to Nelly. We're back for another class on Friday, going through some of the best habits. Last week we talked a lot about validity and positioning in your business. And today I wanted to talk about something that I think is really important because it is the base, it is the worth of your business, and that's your database. Obviously, hopefully you're all using KV Core, right? Yes, everybody. So getting into it, there's a couple things we have to talk about. So the power of a database, building a database, like where do you start from? You have to feed it every day, adding things in, communicate it in a systematic way. And that's the key word there, systematic way. Service all the leads that come your way. I know that Carl just spoke about this and we've been talking about it a lot recently, that it's in the follow up, money's in the follow up, right? So if you're not paying attention and actually servicing all the leads that come your way, we don't get there. And then we'll go through from there. Okay. So this is one of the best questions you could ever ask yourself. This is something that you should be doing on a regular basis to kind of have an introspective idea of what you're working with. So where are you today? And there's 4 questions here that are really important. So in the last, say, week, it's Friday, right? So this week, from Monday to Friday, what lead generation activities have you done? Okay. What ahas? When I say an aha, I mean, what did you learn from it? Right. So if I say, okay, my lead generation activities, I made 100 cold calls this week, right? You guys know I always revert back into cold calls, but I made 100 calls. I did this, I did that, whatever you did. What were the takeaways? I learned that when I call people at 7 a.m., they tend to be angry. Okay, so that's something that you learned. Then what was the most difficult part? In this situation, normally it's doing it. So what was the most difficult part of something when you're talking about the activities you have done in the past week, right? And then what will you do differently in the next 24 hours? Why do you think it's really important to ask these 4 questions of yourself? The answer is because if you're constantly examining what you're doing, what you're learning, why you're not doing it or what's not working, and then change it, that's how you really grow. So that's where growth comes from, is the ability to try something. Did it work? Yes. Did what didn't work? And then make a change. Okay. So that's a big thing there. So exercise you should be doing. Okay. Truth. The heart of your business is database, and the heartbeat of your business is your regular contact with the database. If you guys think about any single business in the world that sells, like a doctor's office goes to sell, an attorney's office goes to sell, what do they actually sell? They sell their database, right? If you have an entertainment agent or a sports agent, anything like that, they're selling their database when they sell their business. So the question I pose to you guys is, right now, today, if you decided you wanted to sell your real estate business, you'd be selling your database. And what would that be worth? If the answer is 0, we have a problem. Okay. So think about that. The job: record contact information from your leads, track your interactions with them, and assign them to appropriate marketing plans. A database allows us to stay in touch with people and take things off of our plate. That's what people forget. They think, I can't work on my database, I don't have time. Working a database gives you time back, right? Also, it stops you from letting people fall through the cracks. A lot of times we meet people, we have a conversation, they say they want to buy a house next year, or they want to buy a house at the end of the summer. Come the end of the summer, you're not going to wake up in the morning and be like, Joe wants to buy a house, I should call him, off the top of your head. It's not going to happen. This is how that happens, okay? We pay attention to the people that are instant gratification on a regular basis, meaning the person that wants to buy right now in the next week or the next month, those are the people we pay attention to. But if you think about every person that we left behind in 6 months, right? 6 months ago, I'm sure somebody told you that I'm just waiting or I'm saving money for a down payment. Now those people you forgot about, you don't have their contact, you don't know how to reach out. This stops that. So it increases your deal count, it increases your productivity and your dollar productive activity, really crazy. And you can set it up to do it itself. Okay. Oh, I just did that. Crap. I skipped my own slide. Yeah, they sell their business. Okay. So database tools, index cards. This sounds so funny, guys, but it's very true. I do this. I still do it to this day. Whenever you meet somebody, you either get a business card, right? That's great. Or write it on a piece of paper, write it on a napkin. You know how many times I met somebody out at a restaurant and they said they wanted to buy, I wrote down their info? Because I'll give them my information, but then you're relying on them to call you. So I'll write down their information, because let's face it, not everybody in the world walks around with a business card. like real estate agents, you know? So get their information, find a spot in your world. So for ladies, it could be your purse. Well, I guess for anybody, if you have a purse, it could be the glove box of your car. It could be your bag or your computer bag, a pocket. Find something. And when you collect this stuff, throw it all in there. And then what you're going to do is put in your schedule one time a week to go through and pull out the people you have to put into your database, right? Instead of forgetting. If I told you that I met somebody on Sunday last week, and now I'm like, okay, it's time to update my database. Do you think I'm going to remember what they want, their phone number, their email, their name, their wife's name? No. Start getting in the habit of writing things down. I know index cards is funny because I don't even know if they even exist anymore. Electronic spreadsheet, again, same thing. If you guys are having time issues, start a Google Sheet, put the name in, put the information in, and you could enter into your database later. How long does it take you to put Tom O'Keefe, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, East Brunswick next month? Just that easy, right? So put it somewhere where it lives. Personal information manager, again, database management system. This is where we're going. We're kind of working our way down the line. So this is the simplest, and then eventually we're going to get into getting them into your KV Core. Okay. So which is the best type of database tool to use? I love this question so much. The one you're going to use. So again, I push KV Core because I think it's amazing, and that's our in-house company. But even if you're using a spreadsheet or a notebook or whatever that is, whatever you're actually going to use to keep information. Okay. A lot of people with KV Core, I will say, they open it up, they get a little frustrated, and then they close it and don't do it again. One thing at a time, guys. So open it up, add 1 contact today. Add 5 contacts today, right? Don't worry about all the extra things. It's like trying to take a sip out of a fire hose, right? Sometimes you have to do one thing at a time and you'll get there. The reason why I push for this so much is because once you get the names and the data into it, then you can start to explore the mass texting, the voicemail drops, the automatic email, smart campaigns. You don't have to know that right now. You have to know, get people in to your database. Okay. So 4 laws. You're going to build a database. You guys have that all set up. That's the easy part. A lot of places that I've worked in the past, they don't have it. You have to go find your own company, find your own thing, set up an account. You guys already have a database built for you. Okay. Feed it every day. If you feed your database every single day, and like I said, this is one of your kind of passive activities that leads to money, right? So if I said every day I'm going to add 5 people into my database, that would take me no more than a half hour to do. Okay. And the objection that I always get from agents at this point is that, oh, I don't know that many people to add 5 people, 25 people a week. When I say every day, I count weekdays. So I don't know 25 people to add every week. If you don't know 25 people to add every week, what do you have to do? Meet more people, right? So the idea is, like I said, in your bag or in your glove box of your car, those cards, those, notes, those napkins, it doesn't matter. That's where your business is going to come from. So go through your cell phone, right? Reach out to people, add them in. So feed it every single day. The next thing is communicate with it in a systematic way. The reason why this word is big, systematic, is because you have to have a game plan. So if I just go and open my database and say, yep, there's some people, it doesn't really work. Okay. But if I say, every week of the month, I'm going to call everyone that's name starts with A through C, I'm going to call, right? You can do something like that. The other thing that I always did is I always did by last contact. So when you guys are using your database, if you call someone, you can log, I made a call on January 12th to Tom O'Keefe, and it will be there. Then you could search your database by last activity. So now, right now, I can go through and see anybody I haven't spoken to in 30 days. But you have to log the interaction. It doesn't know. So you have to log the interaction. To me, that was always the best way. That if you stay up and every Friday of your life, you go through and you call everyone you haven't talked to in 14 days, 30 days, whatever that looks like in your business, you'll be in constant contact with everybody in your world. And the calls don't have to be a sales call. It could just be a hi, how are you call. But again, you're reminding people you're in real estate, you're staying in touch. And when you do it consistently, there's not going to be that many, right? If you do it every Friday or every Monday, whatever it looks like, that's going to be something that those are the calls you need to make. Okay. So Service all the leads that come your way. This is huge. Like I said, I kind of already touched on it. I jump slides sometimes when I talk, but communicate with every person that comes your way. That's something, like I said, you have to get that out of your head, the instant gratification, right? If somebody doesn't want to buy a house right this minute, doesn't want to sell right this minute, we can't be like, okay, bye, right? If somebody wants to move out of state, this was one that just came up recently. They said, oh, I met this great person. They're already selling their house and they wanted to move. So I got so excited, but they're moving to North Carolina. I was like, get them an agent in North Carolina, get a referral fee, right? We service every lead that comes our way. Everybody in the world complains about Facebook leads. I got Facebook leads, but they're all bad leads. There is no such thing as a bad lead. It's just a not now. If somebody online or in the world is clicking a button about houses, what does that mean? It means inherently they're thinking about houses. So if you could be the person to help them achieve that goal, like I said, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe a year from now, that's fine. But keeping them in here is what's going to convert those deals. It's nurturing, right? All right. So where contacts come from? This is a great graphic. Everywhere. So we think about where our leads come from, and everyone says there's this big thing like, oh, you have to cold call, you have to cold call. It's not the only way. Contacts. When we say contacts, to me, a contact is anybody that you talk to in the world and mention real estate. To me, that's a contact. Doesn't have to be a sales pitch, doesn't have to be anything like that. But if we talk and I call and say, hey, Tom, I haven't talked to you in forever. How have you been? Good. Oh, how have you been? I've been doing great, running around selling houses. I've been showing houses. I just did an open house this weekend. Oh, I forgot you were in real estate. That's a contact, right? They go into the database. They get a happy holidays card. They get a happy 4th of July card. Happy St. Patrick's Day, whatever you want to do. So see the staying in touch and is a reminder of that. So yeah, you have farms, you have mailers, responses to advertising, web searches, your website actually. Builders, past clients, family, other agents, friends, business networking, personal referrals, business referrals, open house visitors, random conversations. That's actually one of my favorites. I could talk to anybody. Door knocking, lead gen services. That's the paid services. Personal network, expireds, withdrawn, for sale by owner, demographic farms, office calls, not so much. Seminar attendance, yard signs, client parties. There's like no end to where we can get stuff from. The thing is that if you're only doing one of these things, your lake's not going to be very full. And if you're doing all of these things, but you're not letting it in, the lake's going to be dry, right? So we could put so much time into all of these services, developing leads, and if we don't put them into the database, they're not going to go anywhere. Okay. So haven't mets and mets. People that you have not met. The idea is that we want to get people down to this part, and I think there's a different thing, but we go from general public, targeted groups, that's your farm area, that's stuff like that. We go into network groups, so those are people that, you worked with, other businesses, stuff like that, people you have met. Allied resources, that's very business to business. Okay, so that's your attorneys, stuff like that. Advocates are people that know that you're in real estate. So people that would use you, people that should use you, right? As long as you keep reminding them, they'll keep doing it. And your core advocates are the people that will tell everybody in the world about you. That's like mom, right? She's running around, my son's in real estate. Ah! Not my mom, but normal moms. Sorry. So you have your core advocates. Those are the people that would, if somebody mentions a house, they have your card in their purse, right? So the idea is we want to know how to get people from here all the way down to the bottom. So how many raving fans do you have in your life that would really advocate for you to make money? So it's something to think about, okay? Again, so people you have met, we always hope for a repeat, referral, or new business, right? People you haven't met, it's really only new business and maybe sometimes referrals. If you call someone and they say, I don't want to sell right now, but my daughter wants to buy, right? Stuff like that. So we focus on the people that we've met. That's why we focus on database, because there's so much more opportunity than just people you've never met. Okay. So 10 new contacts every day into your database. You'll have 2,000 people in 200 working days. Math. But that's the thing, the growth. Like we said, if you think about it, 25 people a week, even if you do 5 a day, strive for more. But if you do 5 a day, it's 25 a week. And that's what, 100 a month. So that's 1,200 new people. If you added 1,200 people into your database and communicated with them regularly, do you think you would do more business than you're doing now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. If not, then something's very wrong. Okay. Sources to build your database. Again, friends, family, neighbors. That's a big one. Meet your neighbors, guys. School. If you have kids, you talk to the other people, or if you're in school, some of you are young. People you do personal business with. Those are, the hairdresser, the barber, the mechanic, stuff like that. Sports and hobbies. Former employers. That's true. Not everybody came out the womb and became a real estate agent, except for Mauricio. So if you had a job before this, who's the people you used to work with? Organizations. We just talked about this on Wednesday night on Night School. If you're not on Night School, you're missing out. It's the best night of the week. So organizations, are you on the board of directors of something in your township? Are you helping out at the shelters? Are you helping out with Chamber of Commerce? Are you invested in your area, your community? It's big. So who knows you already? Again, we're not going to sit and go through this today, but this is a good exercise to do. Make a list of people that know you already, that you can think of off the top of your head. This is meant to be a very instant exercise, so you don't have to sit for an hour and do this. Make a list of who knows you. So if I asked you, write down 10, 15 people that know you. Could be anybody, right? So you're going to write it down. You're going to put Tom, you're going to put Keno, you're going to put Art, you're going to put, Nelly. So you're going to do that. And then you could add them to your database later. That's the goal. Okay, so you make that list, and then later on you could add them in. Okay. Title companies. So Emily, yay. They may want to co-market with you, right? One thing I will say is that anybody, not just title, anytime, they're always happy to help out. Just make sure that you do it both ways, right? So when they're doing marketing for you, make sure you're sending your title orders to Emily. When they're doing mortgages, make sure you're sending it to Joe or to Alex, one of our people, right? Because they want to help you out, but at the same time, we should be helping them back, right? Third-party vendors, again, you could take this and do anything. Home inspections, cleaning companies always do well for me. There's anything that you want. So think about the vendors and say, hey, let's do a door hanger, and we can make it a car wash door hanger, and on the bottom we'll put my business card that rips off. All right? First 10% off the first car wash if you mention Tom. It's a thing. So think about that. Okay. So feed it every day. Again, this is it's called Daily 10-4. You should be doing 10 new contacts, right? Making 10 new contacts, meaning 10 people that you've never met or talked to before. Entering 10 people in your database. Write 10 handwritten note cards. I still to this day am a huge fan of handwritten note cards. I know that a lot of people don't like to do it because it's labor intensive, but to me, how often do you guys get mail at your house that's not a bill or an advertisement? Not very freaking often, right? So the idea is, if you read a card and it just says, hey, Tom, what's going on? It just says, hi, Tom, my name is Blake. I'm a real estate agent in your neighborhood. I recently sold a house and I have a ton of buyers looking. If you know anybody that would be interested in selling their home in the neighborhood, would you please, give them my information? Put 2 business cards in there, stamp, ta-da. Okay. Handwritten note card. It's something nice, even for the holidays, for anything. It's just reaching out. Okay. And then preview 10 homes a week. This can be online, or you guys should be checking out houses. We talked about this again this week too, is that as agents, you need to be an expert. So if you're focused on one area, you should be at the open houses, other agents. And just if they say anything, say, hey, I'm just checking it out. I might have a client. I don't know yet. Can take a look, right? Because when you sit down in a listing appointment, you know that they're going to know what's going on in their neighborhood because that's their sole focus. So if they say, well, the house up the street sold for $600,000, you could say, I was actually just there on Sunday and they also have a brand new kitchen and redid their bathrooms and they, blah, 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 blah. If you don't know that, at least look online if you don't want to go. But if you don't know that information, you're not the smartest person in the room. So make sure that you pay attention to that, okay? So again, expanding your database, phone calls, visits to past clients, school, church, neighbors, sports, hobbies, community, open houses. Guys, every person that you do an open house for needs to go into your database and needs to be followed up with forever. You should be following up with every human being that you meet until one of 2 things happen. They either work with you or How did they put it? One or two fingers. It's either this one or the other one, right? So open houses, KV Core, guys, you should be using the Open House app. It does not work great on computers, I'm not going to lie, but it works great on the phone or on tablets. What happens is you ask them to sign in. If you have an iPad or some kind of tablet, they sign in. It goes into your database automatically and then automatically puts them on a smart campaign for 122 days. That is the definition of you can't not work with me, right? So open house is big. Geo farms, again, niche farms for sale by owners expired, your guys' favorite. Agent to agent referrals is a very, very, very underrated one. I just had somebody ask me, how do I send out my new listing to all the agents? And the answer is you have to have them in your database, right? We get it from other agents, right? We get it all the time in your email, don't you? Just listed, this, that. It's because they put you into their database. So every time you get one of those, instead of deleting it, you should be taking them and putting them in your database. Our office, if you go in through KV Core, you can send it out to our whole office into the playbooks. So if you go to playbook, that's the first step. It'll send it out to the roster here. But outside, every time you meet an agent, we tend to be like, oh, hi, right? Get the info, put it in the database, because if you're holding a broker's open or you have a new listing or a coming soon or something like that, how powerful would that be to send it out to 1,000 agents prior to having to put it on the MLS? Calls attention. Internet leads, obviously, duh. But again, with internet leads, they have to go in the database, because we'll get a Zillow lead or a Facebook lead or something and we'll call and they won't answer. And then we move on with our life. And what if they were on vacation, right? So internet leads have to go in there, even if you consider it a bad lead, which is silly, okay? What do you need? So you need their name, their address, their phone number, their email address. If you have a business card, stuff like that, you could upload. The more data, the better. So I was never a fan of uploading a spreadsheet of people into a database, because I always took it as an opportunity. So I have a spreadsheet, or I have people that I want to put in. I put them in one at a time. Everyone thinks I'm nuts, but the reason is because it's not homework. It doesn't have to be done by tomorrow. I add in one at a time. I reach out to them some way. I'll make a note that I called them on January 12th, or I text them on January 12th to say hi. I'll make sure that I get all the details in there, their wife's name, their birthday if I have it, their Facebook, their Instagram. Make full contacts in there and take your time with it. Obviously, the more data we have, the better, because it's going to change around. That the best example of this is really Facebook. Did you guys ever realize that Facebook tells you when someone's birthday is? Yep, and you had no idea. Yeah, so when I get up in the morning and I see on Facebook, it'll say, oh, it's Joe's birthday. So then I go and say, happy birthday, Joe. That's a database. So why don't you have your KV Core tell you it's your past client's birthday, it's your friend's birthday, it's another agent's birthday, it's the vendor's birthday. It can tell you, and then you could reach out or send something or send a card, stuff like that. Exactly. So the more data that you have, the better. It's right there. Things you need to know about when you think about entering things. One of my favorite models, I know I talk about it a lot, is there's really only, we're not going to get too deep into this today, but there's really only 4 things that motivate people. So people are either motivated by their family, meaning their kids, where they're, to move, to buy or sell. They want to be closer or farther away from their family. The kids are going to a different school. The kids are gone. They're empty nesters, right? They're pregnant. They need a bigger house. Family is the biggest motivator. Second is occupation. If someone needs to be closer to work, or if they're working from home, they need more space in the house. They need a home office. So your occupation is a big one. Recreation, people like to pretend that this is not a gigantic motivator, but it is. So we say, it's like, oh no, I'm focused on my family and my job. But if you took me and dropped me in the middle of like suburban farmland, I would probably hang myself. Right? Like, I need to be around people. Right? I like to go out. I like restaurants. I like stuff like that. So recreation is a big one. And then dreams is, you have to understand with somebody, where are they going? What's the game plan forward? Like, after this house, what's next? Because back in the day, people bought houses and it was their forever home. Like my parents. My parents bought a house. They've lived there for 30 years. Since I was 20, and they've been there forever, and that was the game plan, and they're probably going to stay there, honestly, forever. Nowadays, we have to understand, is that their dream to buy a house and live there forever? Or is this a starter home? Or is this that they're testing out the area to see if they like it, right? So what's the game plan? Finding that out goes different. Again, things you want to find out, quick relationship things. Are they a buyer or a seller? That's pretty important, right? A lot of times both. Their urgency, so when, right? So it's really what, when. Their spouse's name, guys, make a note of this. If somebody is together with somebody, there's nothing more embarrassing than saying, hey, Tom, hey, Hugh. Spouse's name, right? Kids' names goes a long way. So you walk in and you say, hey, Tom, hey, Janet, and hey, little Timmy, like Tom Jr., like whatever. It goes a long way. Their personality profiles. So you guys know I'm a huge fan of this. So the DISC. So if you can kind of feel out how they are, if you guys have not done the DISC assessment, go take it. It's free online, but it kind of explains. So if I put in there, they're a high S personality, I know when I contact them next, the way I have to go about it, be a little bit more sensitive, okay? Their birthday, that's a big thing. Everyone loves happy birthday messages, right? It makes you feel special. And again, think about if you opened your database and it said, here's 5 people that have birthdays today, and you just sent a text to those 5 people saying, hey, happy birthday, hope you're doing great. It's a nice thing. Their hobbies, their interests, and again, children. So what to feed your database? Again, we're adding contacts. When to enter contacts, this is a big thing. So set yourself time in your calendar. That's part of your lead generation time. Is like I said, if every Friday from 2 to 3, you're going to enter people into your database, you'll be very productive. It really will make a difference, I promise. Updating contact information. So keep in mind when you're speaking with somebody, if you're making calls and past client calls, the best practice is to have your computer open, have your database. So I'm going to open up Joe's profile and call Joe. So one, I could log the call that I called him. So I could put call Joe January 12th. Then also he's going to say like, oh, it's so crazy. Like my wife just got pregnant. I could be like pregnant, checking in 9 months, right? So you can make alerts, but update contact information because things change with people. Have you guys ever reached out to a past client or somebody and realized they had a huge life change and you had no idea? It actually just happened to me. I had somebody reach out to me yesterday in the afternoon, and they said, oh, how's everything? How's Clay? How's stuff? I was like, yep, divorce, sorry. So they had no idea that this happened in my life. So you want to make sure that you update these things so you're up to date with everything that's going on, okay, with people in their lives. So one habit, they say 3 hours of lead gen a day, 5 days a week. That's the goal. Identify, prioritize your lead gen activities. And at the end of it, you update your database with what happened. Okay. So all 3 have a common theme: overkill over time. No matter how much frequent and systematic lead gen is emphasized, most real estate agents still tend to underdo it. Do you agree with that? Meaning that if you say you're going to lead gen, like this is going to be my week of lead gen, and then you end up doing a half hour twice this week, it's not effective. So we have a tendency to overemphasize, meaning that we really want to do it, we know we should do it, and underdo it, right? Because of time, because of, I don't know, a million reasons. 100%. Yeah, that you're just too busy. So this is the thing. If you set out and say, I'm going to do this and it's going to happen no matter what, it's going to make you more money. So we can't boo-hoo and say there's not enough business, it's the market, it's this, it's that. It's underdoing your lead generation. It's underdoing your database. For those of you guys that have been here for more than a year, you should have at least 1,200 people in your database if you did this. Just a little bit off. Just off by like 1,100 or so. Okay. So the benefits, again, consistency. We talk about that all the time. Consistency, predefined, means like what we're going to, you know what you're going to do ahead of time. So we don't sit down and say, okay, lead gen time. Oh, I'm going to get coffee. Oh, there's Suzanne. Hi. Right. And you don't get done. So know what you're going to do when you're going to do it. It is repeatable. And then again, there's things that you could automate. So that's right in there. This I'm going to change. So we're not going to go through that. So myth, I don't have enough leads to bother with this contact management system. Most agents in the growth phase of their career are managing 20 20 to 80 leads at a time. With just 20, it's difficult to keep contact information up to date, as well as scheduling and completing your other lead generation activities. Implementing touch programs without an automated system becomes virtually impossible. Let me break that down because that's a little right on the nose. But when you guys are working, you probably do have about 20 leads, 20 people that have reached out at any given time, right? If you count Facebook leads, friends, people you met, open house people, clients, stuff like that. So when you have that, like I said, we focus on the minority, meaning the people that want to buy right now. So if you guys get 20 leads this month and we focus on 2 of them, because now you're running around, you're busy, you're on showings, you're doing stuff, you lose 18. If you lost 18 leads every single month over the course of a year, that's millions of dollars in sales, right? So we automate it. We get them onto a smart plan and we automate it. Okay. The reason why I skipped those is because I have to update it for the smart plans. That's a different plan. So you could set them up on automatic things. You could set them up just to get an email for every holiday. In America, we have a holiday every month. So you could set them up for that. Just some kind of reminder that they're there. Okay. So again, the key to working with your database, most important things, most important touches in the world is that, one, you have to use it. I think everybody would agree that a lot of you guys haven't opened kvCORE in a while or ever. So you have to use the system. It's there, right? It does things for you. Like I said, this is not something that takes up your time. It's going to give you time back once you set it up. And that's number 2. Take baby steps. Like I said, enter 1 today. If we end this call and every single person watching or here goes in and puts in 1 contact, even if somebody else in the room, it doesn't matter, right? Enter 1 person and it's a step. Okay, so now you have somebody in your database. Strive for like 5 a day. Your database is never going to be finished. Like I said, it's not an essay. It's not an assignment that has to be done at some point. It's something that you're going to grow every day. So don't get that pressure of, oh, well, I have nothing in my database. I haven't started, blah, blah, blah. Start with a couple, add in 5, and you'd be surprised how far that will go. Okay. And then 3, listen to it. So I put in all these people and I put in their birthdays and then I don't log in again ever. That was a waste of time, right? Or I have it's the same idea. If I have an open house, get a big spreadsheet of 20 people came to my open house, and then I go throw it in the trunk of my car and go about my day. Was that useful? No, it's about conversion, guys. So you have to build a database, feed it, and listen to it. And again, just do it slow. Don't let it intimidate you with all the things. Deleting people, like I said, it takes a lot for you to get out of my database. Not so much the smart plans, because people could unsubscribe if they want to, but you'll stay in my database and I will send you a happy holidays card for the next 45 years until you curse me out, right? So don't delete people. A 12 direct plan means you're sending them something once a month via email, via post, whatever that is. If you have somebody that's, a little bit more standoffish, put them on an email only campaign, right? 1 time a month, they're going to get an email. It's not as effective, but it still reminds them that you're there. Okay. Don't take people out again, unless they scream at you. Funneling leads, again, lead generation sources, bringing in the leads. So that's your cold calling, your dialers, your Zillows, all that kind of stuff, Opcity. Lead generation sources that convert to business. That's important. So you can put in where a lead came from in kvCORE. So when it comes in from Facebook, it'll say from Facebook. And then this is huge for reporting because we can see what converted to business. So if I go in my database and I have, again, you have to have the data in there for this to work. I can go to reports. And if I see that, okay, I closed 20 deals last year and 10 of them came from open houses and 1 of them came from Facebook and 5 of them came from Zillow, you could see where you have to focus. You could see what's converting for you because it is going to be different for every person. Okay. Track whether or not leads are being followed up on. Again, like I said, that's the activity part. So I can go back and see how many people I have not spoken to in the last 2 weeks, in the last 30 days. That's big. Conversation rates, same thing. And then reward referral sources. So again, if I find out that all of my leads are coming from outside agents, I'm going to make sure that I send them all a gift card or something like that. It's just tracking. So again, unity in marketing, signs, flyers, direct mail pieces, promotional items, business cards, letters and email signatures, websites. The idea, everything on this list is all about what we call mind share. So how are people thinking of you, right? That's why we have the database. So we have 2,000 people in a database. How many of them thought of you in the last 30 days? And these things can do it. So have they seen a sign? Did you send them a flyer? Do they see ads, direct mail, promotional items, business cards? It's ways to make people think of you, okay? So you want to assign leads, again, understanding who they are. There's a thing in the top of KV Core saying, are they a prospect, a sphere, new lead, closed? It has all the tags there. The other big thing that I have to add to this is that make sure that you are hashtagging everything in the world. So the hashtags in your database in KV Core, you could put anything, nobody can see them. I mean, don't be rude, but nobody can see them. So the more tags that you put in there, the easier it is to assign leads. I always use the same example, is that if I put hashtag mom for everybody that I know has kids on Mother's Day, I can filter by mom and send everybody a happy Mother's Day email in 3 seconds. It's just that easy. So you have to assign the leads. It's important, okay? Same thing, you could assign by geographic farm. So I could put in hashtag East Brunswick, hashtag Cranford, hashtag whatever they are. That's for a team, name a team member. If there's another agent, you could tag the other agent. If you're doing a co-deal, referring agent, that's big. So if you guys start to get referrals from other agents, you could do a hashtag Tom referral. And then what's going to happen is a couple months later, I could see everybody that Tom ever sent me and go through and see and say, hey, Tom, thanks. You sent me 9 deals. So that's there. Investors, obviously, hashtag investor, hashtag flipper, hashtag buy and hold, all of these things. You could there's no limit. You could put 100 hashtags in there. Adopted buyers, those are the ones you steal. So if you have a buyer, if you have a listing and somebody else brings the buyer, then you meet the buyer, put them in your database. You can do that after they close. Your sphere of influence, family, friends. Like, I'm not even kidding. My mother's in my database, right? So it's just that kind of stuff, because it will pop up and tell me her birthday and her anniversary and stuff like that. And then past clients, it's all there. So it's all about that, tracking and following up with leads. But again, the final thoughts is that you have to build a database. So it's there for you. It already exists. It's your job to add to it. Okay. Feed it every day. Again, it's a habit. So just like you wake up in the morning every day and make a cup of coffee, this should become your habit. You should be waking up at some point in the day and adding 5 people. Okay. If you don't have 5 people, it's time to meet more people, right? Most of us have thousands of people here, and we have thousands of people on Facebook and thousands of people on Instagram, right? So why are we not adding them in? And again, we think of a database that we have to be marketing directly to them to buy or sell a home. You don't. But if you send out, what's the next one? Happy Valentine's Day. I always thought that one was a little weird, but whatever. You send out the next holiday and it says Remax on it and has your picture. It's just a little reminder. Hey, I'm in real estate, right? So obviously the people that are serious buyers and sellers, we're going to do a different marketing strategy. We're going to send smart campaigns and things like that. But if everybody that you've ever met is in there and you send out Happy St. Patrick's Day, it's just a little reminder that, oh, that's right. That's Blake from Remax. It's a nice little touch there. Okay. And then that's communicate with it all the time. Like I said, my best practice for your database is go through and see the last activity. So see who you haven't spoken to in a while. And then the last thing is that just take care of everybody that comes in. That's pretty much it. So that was the conversation for today, guys. Again, one of the number one priorities is you have to put these things into action. So we could sit here and talk about this all day and talk about it for a while. But if you're not ending this call or, taking the next hour of your life to go enter people in, it doesn't matter. We could talk about this all day. It's about action. So when you do the action, you get the results. If we talk about the action, you don't get results. Okay. And that's it. Ta-da. Woohoo.